Hey everybody, Sam here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the next video in the full playlist series of me building my brand new workshop, which is a 20 by 32 stick framed workshop building. In previous videos, we've brought you guys through grading out the work sites, building batter boards, doing layout lines with strings, digging and pouring concrete tube forms for pier footings, setting brackets in those concrete forms, and all sorts of other stuff, leading up to today's video, which is building the beams that go on top of my pier footers that the floor joist rests upon. I have my laser level sitting right up there on the tallest point of the grade, and I have my laser detector set and zeroed out for whenever this level is sitting on top of the 2x8 up there, it is level. So now I'm going to walk around the structure and just kind of see what it takes plus or minus to get level and give me an idea of how much thicknesses of shims I need to do and how far out of level each beam is with each other, and just kind of get a better understanding of how it's laying as far as a level plane. So it looks like they're anywhere from maybe ½ an inch too low, especially this side where the concrete did sink more than the others, to dead on all the way across. All the 3 piers closest to my workshop are dead on, so that's nice. And then it kind of drifts maybe a little bit, ½ inch at most. So I think I'm well within the working abilities of using shingles as my shims. I'm a big fan of doing that because the shingles don't rot, they don't deteriorate, they don't compress. They are long lasting, and the small little thicknesses allow you to cut and stack strips as much as you want to get it dialed in perfectly. So as far as how I'm going to be doing this, I'm starting here at my front corner. This is the high spot. I will make sure it doesn't need any shims, which it doesn't, and then work my way down this row, leveling out this entire beam. Once this one is done, I will then go to this middle beam, same thing, and then the far beam over there, and do the same thing as well. This top corner is my reference point, but I'll be using the laser level with a laser detector to go up and down or whatever we need to get it all on the exact same plane.
Want to check it now?
Nah, we're gonna do 3. Alright, you can check it. Does it pass your inspection?
Yep.
Awesome. Great job.
Okay.
That's pretty close. I say let's keep it. Let's roll with it. Awesome sauce. That did not take too long, especially with the help of Elijah, my son. We got all the beams leveled out, not only in line with themselves, but also corresponding with all the others. So sweet. Again, the shingles work great. It's just so easy to work yourself up. You don't really run into issues with stacking them pretty high, especially with these brackets I'm using. They literally hold them in place. You just shim the middle, and we still have plenty of bracket height to attach to our beams. So we're all good there. Next thing to do is to bring over the rest of our boards. So we'll get the tractor fired up, bring it over here a little bit, and then we'll offload and put our beams loosely together. I've got to get my nail gun and everything to actually assemble them, but we can at least bring over as many boards as we can. That time has come. It is time to build some beams. I have a handful of squeeze clamps and my Paslode cordless framing nailer. I'm going to be nailing together these 2x8s to create beams. It's going to be a 3-ply or triple wide beam that I'm creating. Yes, a massive beam. And it's going to be nailed together with 3-inch ring shank galvanized nails. I tried to splice the beams and have overlapping joints, but I just don't have the footer spaced correctly, and it's going to chew up a lot of material in the treated 2x8s to cut everything to fit. So instead, what I'm going to do is basically build 2 beam sections per run and just join them in the middle. They're going to meet over top of a foundation anyway, and there's that big large bracket which has the holes to screw and attach everything together. So I know it's going to be fine. It's just not exactly what I was hoping would work out, but that was just something I overlooked. I didn't get enough materials for it, or I wasn't being mindful enough when I did my foundations. Since the brackets I have are designed for 6x6 posts, And while I could have ordered custom sized brackets for my triple wide beam, the cost over doubled per bracket. So I decided to use a treated 1x6 board as a filler. That way the bracket can attach everything properly. And then I used some extra long 3" by 1/4" SD connector lag screws to go through my bracket, through my filler block, and on into the beam itself. This gives a very robust connection system. It saves a ton of money in hardware costs, but still is just as reliable, strong, durable, and locked down tight as it would be if I had the smaller brackets. When I was in the design and planning stage of this workshop build, I spent a long time poring over span charts, span tables, calculator tables, and everything else in building code regulations. The reason I did that is I wanted to make sure I properly sized my floor joists for my beams and my footers. I wanted everything to be spaced correctly to maintain the proper pounds per square inch live load, dead load ratings, and make sure I was not doing anything incorrectly. The last thing I want to do is go through all of this effort, cost, and work to just build a building and it have foundation issues, a bouncy floor, or not be structurally sound in the end. Trying to find the middle ground of not as many footers as possible, yet still have enough to where I'm not just dealing with ludicrous sized beams, and also remembering my height of the floor. I wanted to match my old workshop. I went back and forth looking at 2x6 structures, 2x8 structures, 2x10s, and finally settled on what you're going to see today. The beams I'm going to be building are 3 2x8s wide, so a triple wide 2x8 beam. I have a total of 6 of these, but basically they run in 3 long beams that will sit on top of my concrete footers that we poured in the previous videos. My footer spacing below the beams is around 7.5 feet, which is well below the maximum span, and my beam distance is about 8 feet, which is also well below the maximum span. When I'm building and designing, I always try and see, okay, this is the maximum allowed, let's take it down a little bit, let's give myself a little more safety and wiggle room, and just end up with a stronger structure in the end. Well guys, the beams are done and they look fantastic. They are definitely robust, big beefing beams, which is great because there's going to be a big workshop built on top of this. I've probably said it a lot in this video, but I'll go ahead and hash it out again in case I didn't. The shingles for our shims was a fantastic use. I love using shingles for shimming beams and floor structures like this. They work fantastic, and it made it a really easy process for my son and I to just come out and level everything. Probably the biggest hassle with building the beams was the fact that the boards were a little bit skewed here and there, but that's going to happen when dealing with lumber, and I got it pinned down and where they look really good, and I'm happy with the end result. As you guys also saw, I used my laser level with its crosshair feature right here at this corner yesterday evening to make sure that I was getting a 90-degree corner or everything lined up correctly here with the beams themselves. That's going to be very important as I go to frame my floor, as I would like to flush my floor joist with this end of our beams, but we'll see how it goes whenever that step comes. Either way, it was a necessary step and it was very easy to do with the laser level. So again, another benefit of that tool. I'm really seeing a lot of benefits as I've done this project. So that's pretty cool. If you got any questions or comments about building the beams, feel free to leave me a comment down below. Also, if you've not seen the link to the build playlist, check out the video description. It will show you, yes, this step, but also everything prior to this, and more importantly, or entertainingly, everything from here forward to the completion of my new workshop build. I appreciate you guys watching as always. Take care, and I'll see you next time at the work site. I knew I was going to trip over that thing.